Hello, Eastgate Tiger Cubs, and I hope you are very excited to learn about hermit crabs with me this week. So, the story that I read to you last week was called The Mixed Up Chameleon. It was also written by Eric Carle. This book is written by him as well. Something very cool about him is he does really amazing artwork, so he illustrates his books as well. This book is very tiny, so I'm going to have to hold it up close, so be patient with me. I will show you the pictures, but I want to make sure that you hear the whole story because you have an activity that goes along with this book that you have to complete where you have to put it in order. So we have to really listen for what's happening in the story because you're going to have to put that in order on your activity, okay, on your sequencing activity. All right, here we go. A House for Hermit Crab, written and illustrated by Eric Carle. Time to move, said Hermit Crab one day in January. I've grown too big for the shell. He had felt safe and snug in his shell, but now it was too snug. Hermit Crab stepped out of his shell and onto the floor of the ocean. It was frightening out in the open ocean without a shell to hide in. What if a big fish comes along and attacks me? He thought. I must find a new home soon. Early in February, Hermit Crab found just the house he was looking for. It was a big shell and strong. He moved right in, wiggling and waggling about inside to see how it felt. It felt just right. But it looks so, it looks so plain, thought the Hermit Crab. In March, Hermit Crab met some sea anemones. They swayed gently back and forth in the water. How beautiful you are, said the Hermit Crab. Would you be willing to come live on my house? It is so plain and it needs you. I'll come, whispered a small sea anemone. Gently, Hermit Crab picked it up with his claw and put it onto his shell. In April, Hermit Crab passed a flock of starfish moving slowly along the sea floor. How handsome you are, said the Hermit Crab. Would you be willing to decorate my house? I would, signaled the little star. Carefully, Hermit Crab picked it up with his claws and put it on his house. In May, Hermit Crab discovered some coral. They were hard and didn't move. How pretty you are, said Hermit Crab. Would you be willing to help make my house more beautiful? I would, creaked a crusty coral. Gingerly, Hermit Crab picked it up with his claw and placed it on his shell. So far, he has an anemone, a starfish, and now a coral. In June, Hermit Crab came to a group of snails crawling over a rock on the ocean floor. They glazed as they went, picking up algae and bits of debris and leaving a neat path behind them. How tidy and hard-working you are, said Hermit Crab. Would one of you be willing to come and help clean my house? I would, offered one of the snails. Happily, Hermit Crab picked it up with his claw and placed it on his shell. In July, Hermit Crab came upon several sea urchins. They were sharp, prickly needles. How fierce you look, said Hermit Crab. Would you be willing to protect my house? I would, answered a spiky sea urchin. Gratefully, Hermit Crab picked it up with his claw and placed it on his shell. In August, Hermit Crab and his friends wandered into the forest of seaweed. It's dark in here, thought Hermit Crab. How dim it is, murmured the sea anemone. How gloomy it is, whispered the starfish. "How murky it is," complained the coral. "I can't see," said the snail. "It's like nighttime," cried the sea urchin. In September, Hermit Crab spotted a school of lanternfish darting through the dark water. "How bright you are," said Hermit Crab. "Would one of you be willing to light up my house?" "I would," replied one lanternfish, and it swam over near his shell. In October, Hermit Crab approached a pile of smooth pebbles. "Wow, how sturdy you are," said Hermit Crab. "Would you mind if I rearranged you?" "Not at all," answered the pebbles. Hermit Crab picked them up one by one with his claws and built a wall around his shell. "Now my house is perfect," cheered the Hermit Crab. But in November, Hermit Crab felt that his shell seemed a bit too small. Little by little over the year, Hermit Crab had grown. Soon he would have to find another bigger home. But he had come to love his friends, the sea anemone, the starfish, the coral, the sea urchin, the snail, the lanternfish, and even the smooth pebbles. "They had been so good to me," thought the Hermit Crab. "They are like family. How can I ever leave them?" In December, a smaller hermit crab passed by. "I've outgrown my shell," she said. "Would you know of a place for me?" "I've outgrown my shell too," answered the hermit crab. "I must move. You are welcome to live here, but you must promise to be good to all of my friends." "I promise," said the hermit crab. So the little hermit crab's going to move into his shell. I wonder where the big hermit crab will go. The following January, Hermit Crab stepped out and Little Crab moved in. "Couldn't stay in that little shell forever," said Hermit Crab as he waved goodbye. The ocean floor looked wider than he had ever remembered. But Hermit Crab wasn't afraid. Soon he spied the perfect house, a big empty shell. It looked, well, a little plain, but sponges, he thought. Barnacles, clownfish, sand dollars, electric eels. Oh, there are so many possibilities. I just can't wait to get started. The end. I hope you enjoyed our story today, and remember that in order to complete the sequencing activity that you have in your packet today, you have to listen to the story, okay? If you need to watch it more than once, you sure can. See you later, friends.